Welcome back to another video. In today's video, what I want to discuss is what's going on with the second stimulus check. And then I also want to address something that a lot of people have been talking about, which is a somewhat of a proposal for a $10,000 credit card relief. Now you're probably thinking, if you have credit cards, any credit card debts, awesome, $10,000 paid off. Well, I want to discuss this. I want to really break it down, explain to you why this is a good idea, how this could potentially benefit all of us, how this could impact the Senate's decision on moving forward with a second stimulus check. Maybe that will be a $1,200 stimulus check, maybe it will be a $2,000, maybe it will be even more. We just don't know yet. But I do have some updates, so make sure you stick around, watch this entire video, smash that thumbs up button, and let's go. So first off, I want to give you some somewhat bad news. So Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has stated, this morning, he has stated that he is still going under the wait and see approach. If you don't know what the wait and see approach is, well, not just him, but the entire Senate, many Republicans are waiting to see how the previous economic relief package, the previous stimulus plan, the CARES Act, how that money was being used, where it's being the most effective, where it was just unnecessary spending, where it was wasteful. They want to wait and see and get all the information back to determine where was the money best used. Because if you're not spending your money wisely, you're just wasting it and throwing it away, which in many cases the government already did. One of the things that you need to keep in mind is that the money that was allocated in the first stimulus package, the first economic relief plan, what is happening is a lot of that money is still sitting there. A lot of that money is not even being used. It's allocated for certain things, but it's not being used yet. So the Republicans, and specifically Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, probably President Trump as well, are all sitting there waiting to see, are we going to use that money? What's it going to go to? Is it actually going to be effective in any way? That is part of the wait and see approach, which I think, and probably you do as well, that's a bad idea. The reason this is a bad idea is because people need money now. If you can't afford to keep the lights on, you can't afford to put food on the table, to put clothes on your back, to put gas in your car, to actually get to work, then how does the Senate think this is going to make anything better? How do they think, people just waiting around to see what happens is going to boost the economy up? It's just not going to happen. But there is some good news that we learned from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. So let me read you some of my notes, right? So what we now know, and again, we've known some of this in the past, but I'm taking all this information, putting it all together, reading between the lines, and trying to figure this out for you. So if you enjoy that, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and stick around so that I can show you and talk to you about the $10,000 credit card relief plan. All right? So here's what we know. The Senate wants people back to work quickly. Not just the Senate, mostly Republicans, specifically Donald Trump. Now, what that means is they will probably have to be incentivized to go back to work, right? The next thing that they want is immediate relief for the American people. Yay! Yay, I'm so excited, right? So what that means is another stimulus check and possibly long-term incentives, right? The third thing that the Senate wants is to avoid any more unnecessary debt. The U.S. is already in, a decent amount of debt. More debt than anybody could really pay. But what does that mean? It means that the Senate needs to be very wise with who they allocate money to. I can tell them right now, and most people can, that the best thing to do is to give money to the American people and let them spend it. Let them spend it inside their own communities, inside their economy, to really boost up the entire U.S. economy. Because if they don't do that and they give it to states and local governments, which they do need some money, and just small businesses and just random, businesses that, need some relief because they're going to go bankrupt, what's going to happen is that money is just going to be spent and wasted on stuff that may not really matter or really affect the economy or the American people right now. Long term, yes, it may affect us. But in the short term, that's what everyone's worried about. So first thing you need to do, give money to the American people. Now, so what does this mean? Okay, how exactly is this going to help, and why is this good news? Being that we know these three things. The first thing that we know, okay, the Senate wants people back to work quickly. So one of the things that they're going to do inside this whole wait and see negotiation phase is that they are going to try to incentivize people to get back to work. That could be payroll tax cuts. That could be maybe some type of stimulus check to people at the end of the year. Maybe something a little bit now, and which if they don't get back to work quickly, they have to pay it back at the end of the year. We just don't know yet. Okay, but there's talks of stuff like that. Second thing that the Senate wants, again, immediate relief to the American people. That means stimulus checks. Second stimulus check for you. Now, so why is that a good thing that we know that? It's a good thing because they've already stated this is probably going to happen. They've already stated that this is a high likelihood that people are going to get another stimulus check, another stimulus, some type of relief fund. Okay. But in addition to that, they also want to get people back to work, but keep them working. Not back to work and then scared, oh, what if I get it? I don't want to go. Okay, I'm just going to work half the time. And they're still in the same position that they're in now. Okay, so long-term incentives. And the third thing, avoid any unnecessary debt or more unnecessary debt. This is why they need to really look at the wait-and-see approach, because they need to avoid spending money on stuff that they already spent money on, that the money's not being used. Okay, that's just what they need to do. So that is the second stimulus check update as of May 26th. It's about 1 o'clock, May 26th. So that's just one of the things I wanted to address. But I also want to address one other thing. It's a $10,000 credit card relief. So in order to do this, I want to go to the actual article that I was reading, talking about this entire thing, talking about the two lawmakers or law professors that kind of propose this, and break it down and explain to you why this could possibly work and why this is something that I think maybe the Senate would look at and try to adjust it in a way to really benefit everybody, not just the American people, but the government as well. So let's jump in the computer and I'm going to show you that right now. So here's the article that I was reading from Forbes.com. This was written by Shahar Ziv, or Ziv, I don't know how to really say that, but stimulus proposal, $10,000 in credit card interest relief during the pandemic. Okay, so what does this mean? I'm going to scroll down so that you can kind of get an idea. It's all the way down here, really talks about it. Okay, let me keep going down. But what this is pretty much saying is that a lot of people obviously do have credit card debt. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, the average American has about $5,700 in credit card debt as of 2019. The average rate for a credit card is about 20.15%. Minimum payment, I just put it at 3%. What this means, okay, well, let me click view report. View the report, and you come down here and you can see, okay, payment $172, interest $96, principal $75. That would be your balance. Let me show you why this is such a good idea. I've been having issues with this website for a little while. I think a lot of people have been looking at it. But what this is pretty much saying, if it would actually scroll down, there we go. This would allow banks to charge the government directly for 70% of interest charges. Okay, that's not bad. So let me explain to you why this would be a good idea. Because the government would pay 70%, you would be on the hook for the other 30%, right? Now, just based off of this, okay, just based off of these numbers right here, okay, this. So if you have to, normally you'd pay 96.55, the government would pay 70%, which would come out to $67. Here's the cool thing. Under this SERPA Act right here, this would allow the interest rates to be being subsidized by the government. So this would actually be where, let's say the actual amount that you're going to have to pay is going to be closer to, like, let's say 15%. Okay, let's hide this report. Let's change the number to 15%. So already, automatically, you're saving money because now you're only paying 15%. Okay, let's view the report again. So under this proposal, Okay, now the government would pay 70%, but of 71.88, as opposed to the 96. So they're already saving some money here. Okay, so they would pay $50, and you'd be on the hook for 21, as opposed to the normal amount where it was 96.55 times 7. Okay, you would have been on the hook for about $29. Okay, so you're saving some money here. So this is why I think this is a good idea, because now, okay, if I can get this to really work, now what's going to happen is you can also defer monthly credit card payments due to the, what's going on right now, this pandemic, all right? So until this whole pandemic is over, we're out of the state of emergency, all that stuff, you can actually defer payments, which means you don't have to pay anything right now. The government will take on the 70% of a subsidized interest rate, so much less than what you're currently paying. So really, you don't have to pay anything. Okay, just gonna wait, and that's why this page is a little bit slow. But that's the cool part, is that you don't have to pay anything. The government's gonna take on 70%. You're gonna be required to pay the 30%, but you don't have to pay that now. You can wait later on, and that's really the benefit to doing this. Now, let me explain why I think this is a good idea. Being that this page isn't really working, I can't show you really anything more of this, but let me explain why this is a really good idea. The reason why this plan was a very good idea, and again, this isn't a proposal, this is just a plan that 2 law professors put together, and Forbes picked it up. But this is, I don't think it's being submitted at all. Okay, but the reason why this is a good idea is because this is all it takes. Just some smart individuals to come up with some outside the box thinking that would help the American people, but also let the government kind of help out as well, but not in such a huge way. Because when you're just spending money for the sake of spending money, for example, on the first stimulus check payments, right? They're expected to pay like around $200 billion in stimulus check payments. Okay, $200 billion. By using this example for people that have credit card debt, and people that would be able to benefit off of the government helping them out by paying off of some of this credit card interest, what happens is the government's only going to be on the hook for like under $75 billion, as opposed to giving everybody $1,200 stimulus checks. They'd be on the hook for over $200 billion. All right, so that's one of the reasons why this is a good idea, because it does help out the government, but it also helps out credit card companies, which are always looking for handouts, always looking for some type of bailout or some type of funding, because the American people just can't pay the payments, which they have to obviously do their own payments as well. So that's the problem, is it's helping out multiple people. But this is what the Senate needs to look at, and especially coming into we're after Memorial Day. People are wondering, okay, are we going to get a second stimulus check? What's going on? Is it coming? When's it coming? What can we expect, right? And so one of the things you can expect is that the Senate, specifically the Republicans, are going to look at ways to cut costs, to cut some of the funding out of the HEROES Act that was proposed by the Democrats and was passed by the House. They're going to look at cutting that thing back. Okay, it's not going to be $3.3 trillion like it is now. It's going to be $1 trillion. That is what they've already said. They do not want to exceed $1 trillion in additional funding. So because that, an additional stimulus package. So because of that, do I think we are going to get some incentives to go back to work? Yes, I do. How does that work for me, who's self-employed? I have no idea. Okay, but that's not the case. I'm not worried about myself. I'm doing fairly well right now, so I'm okay. But I really want to help you guys out that are struggling and need some money to come in. So last thing I want to explain, last thing I want to do is, if you need help, if you need some way to make money, go and watch some of my other videos here on this channel. I'm going to link to a handful of videos down in the description box below. So make sure you go and watch some of those, where I show you how to make money on YouTube, how to make money on Facebook and Instagram, okay, on social media, how to make money selling stuff on Amazon and eBay, even Craigslist and Facebook. I show you multiple ways to make money from home and online. So go and watch some of those videos. But if you need additional help outside of that, okay, you need additional help, first, comment down in the comment section below of that video. But the second thing I want you to do, send me an email to homemade entrepreneur gmail.com, and I'll help you out there. Just over the past probably 4 to 5 days, I've helped out over 700 people. Okay, I've answered probably close to about 1,000 to 1,200 emails, helped out over 700 people, showing them different ways to make money from home, different ways to actually, benefit from their expertise and their passions in life, whether it's through YouTube, social media, selling stuff online, doesn't matter. I'm showing you different ways to make money. So if you need help on any of that stuff, again, ask your questions down in the comment section below or send me an email. Now understand this video didn't have all the great, the good news that you were hoping to see after Memorial Day weekend from the second stimulus check update, plan or package. But I promise you, as soon as something good really comes out of the Senate or out of the mouth of Senate Leader Mitch McConnell or even Donald Trump, I'm going to bring it to you as fast as possible, give you the most up-to-date information, especially on stimulus checks, stimulus packages, and how you can actually make money. So if you have any questions, again, ask them down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.